Today, I'll be talking about my top 10 most anticipated rides on my upcoming trip. This video is being posted on June 14th, which is the day before my trip begins, and I wanted to see which of these rides I think I'm going to enjoy the most while I'm gone. And when I'm back, I could do another video comparing if they were as good as I thought they would be, and see if they actually made my top 10. Honorable mention goes to Pantheon, since we don't really know if it's going to be open. It says on the website that it's not going to be, but we're kind of just hoping, but let's begin. Last place is going to be Great Bear. Even though last on the list, I'm still very excited for Great Bear. Great Bear seems to be very similar in Raptor in many ways, and Raptor is a very fun ride. Not the biggest invert ever, but fun, compact, and has some whippy and very powerful elements. A whippy 0G roll, a powerful loop, another whippy corkscrew, and just some overall good inversions on this ride. And that little turnaround thing before the lift is cool, and I love how it's so close to other rides as well. The only reason why it's this low is because it's pretty short in duration. The 9th spot is Griffith. I think this is a sleeper pick for one of the better rides that I could do in Virginia. It has the old school B&M restraints, which people love to say all the time are really good, and allow for some insane airtime moments. And that's another reason why people hate on the newer ones, is because it just doesn't have those OG restraints. But Griffith is huge, a 200-foot plus first drop, and has the chance to have some amazing floater elements. You got the first drop, obviously, and then you have another drop that's about 100 feet tall that should be good as well. The only problem is that the layout is lacking with nothing else other than the drops, but if those drops hit, it will be really, really good. Up next is Raptor Terra. Maybe not the biggest or baddest coaster, but it's just so intriguing to me. I love wing coasters, and I think that this one is very underrated and overhated a lot. Then there is a launch, which is only the second in the United States, and I think that a launch on a wing coaster is a very cool idea. Then there are some very solid versions along the way with the corkscrew and the roll at the end called the Raptor Roll, which is a sick nickname. But there are no near-miss elements, which I think would have been really cool, especially since the theming looks to be pretty good. Which I think no near-miss element is about the only downside to this ride. 7th place is going to Candemonium. This ride could be a lot higher if the second half was good, since the people I've talked to says it's not, but a B&M Hyper is still a B&M Hyper, so how could you complain? You have a huge first drop, which will feel like it lasts forever. Then you have some floater hills that are very similar to Mako's hills, which will be splendid. You finish the second half with a speed hill and an off-bank hill, which are super unique for hypers nowadays. But like I said earlier, the second half is said to be boring since it's just some boring turns, which is why it couldn't be higher. Up next is Alpengeist. I've been on many inverts like Banshee, Raptor, but this one is taken to a new size. Banshee is pretty big, but Alpengeist is almost like a hyper invert, which is insane to say out loud. But then you have some huge inversions in the first half with the Cobra Roll and the Loop, which are said to be very intense elements. Then the second half, you have some smaller inversions in the 0G Roll and the Corkscrew to finish off the ride. But I have heard that the mid-course is a huge momentum stopper, which could be a problem. But still, a good invert is always a good ride. The top 5 for me was very hard to rank, since all of these coasters could be the number 1 by the time I'm done with this trip, but the first ride in the top 5 is Pantheon slides into the number 5 spot. One of the most unique roller coasters on my trip, and there are just so many unique and different elements that look fantastic. The 0G roll to start looks good, then the real fun begins with the swing launch. I've been on a swing launch before, but I can't wait to get into another one. Then you have the top hat with good airtime, more off-bank airtime with the outer bank, 0G stall, and just more airtime to finish off the ride. Just an overall well-rounded ride with great airtime moments, inversions, and a good launch as well. Gonna be a great ride no matter what. Up next is Sky Rush, one of the most debated coasters in the community, but I need to see what side of the argument I fall under. Some think it's one of the best coasters in America with insane airtime positives, while others think it's just not worth that hype. But no matter what, I think it's going to be a good ride. The layout isn't really groundbreaking, it's just simple, reliable, and pretty good. Just a lot of strong airtime hills and bank turns that'll have some positives to enjoy across the ride. Will it be one of the top coasters from the trip? I don't know, I just need to see if it lives up to the hype. 3rd place is Stormrunner, one of the only remaining hydraulic launch coasters in the world, and I just need to get on one. Top Throw 2 was closed for so long and I couldn't get a ride in, and King Ka is now defunct, so there aren't many options left. I've heard amazing things about the launch, and going from 0 to 70 in less than 2 seconds is just mind-boggling. Then the ride after is going to be pretty good compared to other hydraulic launch coasters. The top hat is going to be great, and then you have a pair of unique inversions in the Cobra Roll and the Flying Snake Dive that look impeccable and are just so unique. Runner-up is Twisted Timbers, the first of 2 RMCs that I'm riding on this trip, and could be the best ride at King's Dominion. It has one of the only barrel roll down drops in the world, and that will be the first one that I will be able to ride. Then you have back-to-back-to-back airtime hills that people say to have some amazingly sustained but also strong airtime. Then you finish the ride with some close to the ground inversions and insanely powerful airtime moments. Basically, many Steel Vengeance, which if it's anything close to that, it's going to be amazing, except not quite as long, but the power is just going to be out of this world and insane to ride. Number 1 is going to Wildcat Revenge. Of course, this is going to be the number 1 on the list. This ride will be my second ever RMC when I ride, and I can't wait. It might not be the tallest or fastest RMC, but the layout is unique and very good. There are some unique inversions, including the 0G stall, which will be my first ever RMC version for, and a couple other 0G rules. And then don't even get me started on the insane amount of airtime, ejector everywhere, and even some off-bank airtime that looks amazing. Can't wait for this thing, it's going to be great, and easily at the top of the list for the rides that I can't wait for the most. Thanks for watching, can't wait for the trip, it's going to be lit. Shout out Henry, subscribe to see a lot more new content, since I'm going to be able to get a lot of videos out, and I mean a lot. But other than that, have a good day.